CMPRadio.net. Man, you already know it's your boy Uncle P, and we are here for another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations. Of course, I have my beautiful co-host sitting at the desk by herself, Drea B. How you feeling today, sis?
I'm good. I'm ready to get this conversation popping.
You ready to get it popping? Tonight, we will be talking about breaking generational curses. Do you know what a generational curse is, right? How does it affect you? And if you are a person that has identified your generational curse, then you are trying to break it, you're trying to change it, you're trying to shift it, you're trying to move it, you're trying to get it out of your way. We'll give you some of the steps to help that, right? As well as identify what a generational curse is. Drea, you got anything you want to add?
I think this conversation is actually going to add to like the two shows that we did this far. They all kind of go hand in hand. So I just hope you guys tune in so you can listen to us and, learn some different perspectives and hopefully, promote some healing taking place.
Please tune in. All right. What is a generational curse? Let's just start off from the rip. What do you know a generational curse to be?
To pretty much be like a cycle of like toxicity, like toxic behaviors, abuse, neglect, broken relationships, lack of education, various things come with generational curses. And it's something that really impacts nuclear families and relationships in general. So I think it's important that once you realize that there's negative cycles in your family, that you have the responsibility to change that. Just because something happened to you that, or something happened in your family over and over again that was toxic, you have the power to change that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Well, part of what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. For me, I was like, my dad was a cheater, I'm a cheater, right? My cousins sold drugs. My cousins did this, right? Uncle was a liar, right? My mom was forging welfare. That's not what was really happening. I'm just saying, those are generational curses for me, but it goes deeper than that, right? Abusive relationships. Things that are not seen, right? Your dad had bad money managing skills. That could be a generational curse. How do you shift from having that type of mindset where you're constantly looking? Depression could be a generational curse, right? Let's say your grandfather committed suicide. That could also be a generational curse, right? He was running from responsibility, or it got to be too much for him. There are different types of generational curses, and it's not just about superstition, right? It's a real situation, right? Habits, conditioning, just the unhealed trauma repeating themselves across generations from your great-grandfather all the way down to you. How do we address these issues? Well, first, as we've said the past two shows, therapy, identifying. And you don't what?
You can't heal what you don't reveal.
Right. So if you're not revealing what's going on in your, and I get it. Grandma always say, don't you go nowhere saying what's going on in this house. That's a generational curse as well.
Yep, what goes on in this house stays in this house. We all heard that at some point in our childhood.
Uncle been terrorizing kids in the family, raping them and doing all types of dumb stuff. We have people that have dealt with that. And guess what? No one said anything because what happens in this house stays in this house. We don't want nobody knowing what's going on in this house outside in the streets. And that's real. Mm-hmm. And that can't continue to happen because of what that does is foster people and grown-ups who can't heal from what they're dealing with. And then when you say therapy, they look at you like you speaking crazy. That's for white people. I'm going to say it again. That's for white people.
Yep.
How is that only for white people? Make it make sense why you think therapy is only for Caucasians, why you think therapy is only for Asians, why you think therapy is only for any other ethnic group in the world, but it's not for us. We have the most generational led curses, like when you think about what we went through during slavery, right? High blood pressure, strokes. Like we die sooner than everybody else. Why? Because the black man is dealing with so much stress, so much unneeded stress to provide, to take care of, to protect, to make sure things are working right, that after a couple generations of doing it, now you just pick up the bottle and you drink. You trying to figure out why you always getting drunk. I had to figure that out with myself. Why am I always getting drunk? All right, I can't do that. And I'm a cold turkey person. The only thing I can't quit is cigarettes, and I'm trying. But I was smoking weed. It was like the Appalachian Mountains. I was putting cocaine on my weed, right? I was smoking it. I had no problem with doing it. I went to jail. I came home. I haven't smoked it since. Right? We talking about 2008, almost 16 years, 17 years of me not indulging, right? I smoke weed now. I get high off the first pull, right? What is this? Get to seeing different things. I don't want to smoke no more, right? And I'm good. I don't need it no more. I took Percocet because my back was messed up. Doctor cut me off. I didn't get sick. I didn't go crazy. I just quit. So I don't think I know for a fact that I have an addictive personality. So whatever I do it like I continue to do it.
Okay.
Right, and I think that's why I can't quit cigarettes, because if I quit cigarettes, I don't have anything. Right, I'm out there lost. But my dad smoked cigarettes, right? So that could be my generational curse. My grandfather smoked cigars, right? You know, how do we break these things? You have to have strong mental capacity. You have to be able to tell yourself that you're better than what you're dealing with. What do you have to say about that?
And you have to also unlearn certain things. Because again, the things that we observe in our childhood, sometimes we pick up bad habits. And we think it's not a bad habit because we seen mama do it, grandma do it, uncle do it, cousin do it. So it's like, oh, that's cool. But it could really be something very toxic, and we're just continue perpetuating it because that's all we know. So being able to have uncomfortable conversations with our family members, that's how we sometimes can break those barriers, and being willing to say, hey, I need to unlearn this. Because again, we can't heal what we
Don't reveal. So
are you willing to unlearn? Are you ready to have those uncomfortable conversations?
I don't think a lot of people are. I heard my childhood hero say, nah, John Cena said last night, uncomfortable conversations. I said, look at it, right? I know it's been out there for a minute, but the more you have uncomfortable conversations with your partner, with your family, the more you can heal from past traumas. Every conversation shouldn't be, okay, dandelions and everything's good. No, what happened here? It's going to hurt some people. And you have to say, I'm not hurting you because I want to. I'm hurting you because I have to. I have to figure out what happened here. What went wrong here? How did this happen? How did you allow Uncle Ricky to come in the room, you feel me, at 12 o'clock, and you know he had already molested, you understand what I'm saying, his sister, right? Why were you allowing him to come around me and come near me, right? Why did you let Aunt Pam come in the room, right? What was going on, right? Why were you ignoring certain situations? You knew Uncle Charles was getting high, right? You knew he was coming in and stealing the TVs and all that other stuff. Like, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you protect the kids? Because the kids saw it, then the kids start following Uncle Charles and start smoking crack and start doing different things, start breaking in the house and start going crazy. Like, those are generational curses, and we allowed them to grow underneath of our nose because we were quiet about it, because we didn't say anything.
We got to normalize using our voices because, again, I wasn't always as vocal as I am now. And I know that some people may be annoyed that I am someone that is very comfortable being vulnerable. And I guess sometimes in the Black community is like, okay, like that happened to you, but don't speak about it. You know? It's like, keep your mouth shut, suck it up, and that's not always a good thing.
It's not.
And then we think about toxic masculinity. Let's talk about that. There are so many Black men that's walking around depressed, sad, angry, confused, and wish they had a safe space to land, safe space to someone to talk to. But because they were conditioned from childhood, hey, you better not cry. You better not. You better not talk about your feelings because then you a punk, then you weak. So then you feel like, when it comes time to express your emotions, you have them because you're human, but you don't feel comfortable. And say if you have a daughter, you know what I'm saying? Daughters need love, affection, but you don't know how to properly give affection because it wasn't given to you. It's deep. I can go on and on about this conversation.
Listen, don't stop.
It's very deep.
I think when we think about the older men in our diaspora, we think about what they had to deal with, right? And I say a lot of, let's say, the 65-year-olds on down to maybe, let's go a little bit higher. Let's say 73, 74, all the way down to 50, maybe 40, 50. Let's say 50. Those 23 years of growing up without being able to talk, without having to shut your mouth, without being able to express your feelings. And then the things that they were given once they became men, women, drugs, alcohol. You see the abuse that's put on the drugs, the alcohol, and the women, right? Because you can't say, so I can't say what I'm dealing with, so I'm going to just do this. I'm going to just go crazy with this.
You have a vice to kind of cover up those emotions. Absolutely.
Right. And because when you go to them and you try to get them to share or to talk or to just give their children like love and appreciation because they didn't necessarily receive it, they think it's cool that they don't give it to their kids. So what they're raising is another version of them, right? And because they haven't been able to heal. Again, say it one more time.
You can't heal what you don't reveal.
They haven't been able to heal because they couldn't reveal it, and now their kids are dealing with it, and it's like heal, reveal, or deal, right? So now the kids have to deal with it, and then the kids don't know how to deal with it. Now we got all these new drugs out, so the kids...
So the cycle continues.
And then they have a kid, and then it's the same thing. Now you're drinking, and you're showing the kids that you're drinking, and you're out... And it doesn't stop. So that's where the generational curses come from not being able to heal properly.
Absolutely.
From not being able to give the information to get you to a place where it's like, oh, I messed up.
Right.
I gotta fix it. That's where I'm at. I went to therapy. I realized I had to fix more things. It was more things wrong in my life than were right. My understanding was screwed up. My response was screwed up. My level of vulnerability was screwed up. My level of accountability was screwed up. I was like, fuck, what's right?
Wow.
And the doc had to tell me, he said, you're breathing. That's the only fucking thing I'm doing right. Obviously, you're still here.
Right.
So you got a lot of homework to do. You got a lot of fixing to do. And I'm not saying it's going to happen right away.
But you were willing to do the homework, though.
What he gave me he told me to build this radio station, right? Because of my addictive personality, he told me, because whatever you go after, right, whatever you do it.
Right.
And you don't stop until you get to a point where either you have to stop or there's no reason to stop.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, do the radio station. But while you're doing that, heal as well. While you're doing that, continue to call me, continue to come through, continue to talk to me. Bring your friends, talk to your friends. Whoever. I want you to use this therapy to heal not only you, but the people that are around you.
This is purposeful work you're doing here.
I didn't realize it. I didn't. right? I took a lot of things for granted. I ignored red flags.
We all do sometimes, though.
I don't mind running a red light. I don't mind running a stop sign. You feel me? Like that's what I do. You feel me? I don't have no
So
problem.
you get
with
too many tickets.
I don't even get tickets.
Wow, lucky you.
I've learned how to be observant with the police.
Okay.
Right. And then you in Chester, ain't no cops pulling nobody over for no running no red light. You feel me? Ain't no cops around. But that's crazy. In this city, to say there are no cops around is crazy. Right.
Wow.
So yeah, we need more. We don't need more police. We need community policing. I'm not gonna get into that subject. But the generational curses were shown to me, but I ignored a couple. Because I didn't have my father. So I didn't think these were things that I had to deal with, right? My father died when I was 12.
Okay.
So the generational curse that I was worried about was dying at 37. I was really trying to. I was trying to get there. I was trying to die just like my dad, young like my dad, right? Because that would tell me that's what he did to me, for me. You feel me? Like, he died at 37, so it was like, he must have been great. Because most people that are great die at a young age.
Young age. That's true.
So it's like, damn, I ain't great. No, you got to stay here. You got to figure this out. And I know that's what God said, right? You got to figure this out, right? And you have some generational curses that you didn't know. I had to go talk to my grandfather. And my grandfather really didn't want to share a lot, but he gave me more history on my dad than I knew about. Right? And then my aunts, and then talking to them, they gave me more, right? And then I'm able to put a picture together. So me and my dad weren't too far off, right?
But I feel like even with the generational curses, people that perpetuate them, you still have to give them grace, because most likely people don't intentionally just say, yeah, I just want to F up the family.
It's a reason.
I just want to be an alcoholic. I just want to be a junkie. Nobody wakes up and say they want to do that.
It has to be a reason. Whether it was a girl, whether she told you she was going to do this and you was in the situation, whether you were just down and out, whether you were frustrated, whether you was just tired, whether you had too much weight on you, whether mom was yelling at you, dad was yelling at you, things were too hard, school wasn't working out, your friends. There's a lot of reasons why people do what they do.
Absolutely.
And I had a conversation with somebody a minute ago. I was like, could you forgive somebody for carjacking you? I'm asking you that question.
I could, because I'm still alive.
Right. I said the same thing. Mm-hmm. He was like, nah, man, I can't forgive him. He carjacked me. I was like, did they hurt you? Did they shoot you? You know why he carjacked you? You know what he was running from? You know what he was trying to do? You know who he had to feed?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
When you think of things that way, when you think on the other side, you're like, oh, shit, okay. Now, he didn't change how he felt. He was still mad. I'm going to lock him up, right? But for what?
But when you can understand people's behaviors are not always like a reflection of, oh, you deserve this or whatever. It's like it ain't even about you.
Right.
It helps you to have a different perspective
It does.
and give grace.
It does.
For sure.
Grace is important. I think, and grace also comes from healing.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't. Again, you can't what?
You can't heal what you don't reveal.
You can't heal what you don't reveal. And when I went into my therapist's office, and after the first time we talked, and I gave him everything, and he told me I was covert and she was overt, and no, she was covert and I was overt. Like, I understood, right, exactly what was going on with me. I said, I got to come back. We got to talk. And I went back. We talked, and I cried, right? Told him how I felt. Told him how my dad was strict. I wasn't allowed outside, right? So for me, going to college, that was what I was supposed to do.
Right. That was expectation.
K through 8th grade, I was in Holy Ghost. High school, Chester High. I didn't know how to survive in Chester. I was in Holy Ghost, all white school with a couple of black, people in there. My graduating class from kindergarten to 8th grade had 10 people in it.
Wow.
10 people. I go into Chester High, I'm in a class with 31.
Wow, that's like wow.
It's a culture shock.
It's a culture shock for sure.
But then, 9th grade, my mom sends me out to Malvern Prep. And that's the high school I thought I was going to go to.
Okay.
Send me out there for tutoring, for math and everything. Basketball coach in love with me, you feel me? Like my hustle and all that good stuff. Oh, yeah, get him out here. 75% they wanted to pay for my tuition.
Wow.
My grades was good. You feel me? He was like, why are you in summer school? I said, I don't want to go to class. Well, I'm good. Generational curses. My dad left and went to Paris, right? When he was young, you feel me? Left Haiti, went to Paris, then came to America, right? So he had to venture out on his own. You feel me? And I had to do the same thing. I didn't realize it. But
Do you think you got your hustle from just the culture? Like, I didn't know you were Haitian at first,
Right.
but the culture of like Caribbean people are hard
Right,
workers. Like
right.
they get it from the mud. Like,
I think that has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
And I also watched my grandma work the same way.
okay,
You know what I mean? She was a caterer. She was a cook. She was helpful in the community. She was every Saturday she was out front cleaning up.
Wow.
Right. So that's why when I go clean up, I go clean up.
so it's in the DNA.
It's definitely
It's definitely in the DNA.
you can have good generational attributes.
That's very
I'm not
true.
gonna say curses.
That's true.
Right. So
Absolutely.
like look at the good that you have and build upon that.
Facts.
Right. But to break our generational curses, you need to identify and recognize toxic patterns in your family. So we talking about emotional suppression, right? Avoiding vulnerability and a lack of affection, right? How does that show itself?
I want to speak on this.
Right,
and
right.
I'm probably going to be stepping on some toes.
No, go ahead.
So, I wasn't always an affectionate person.
No, why not?
Like, well, the way I grew up, my family was very loving, but we weren't huggers. We weren't affectionate. But the way we showed our love was through gift giving. So materialistic things. So I adapted that very young, and that was with me probably from 42. I probably just snipped that in the bud at 40. So let's just say that caused a lot of problems for me.
You don't give gifts no more?
I give gifts,
Oh.
but I'm more affectionate. I didn't like giving hugs. I had to be taught how to give proper hugs. It's
Somebody to
the
teach you how
whole-
to give a proper hug?
Yeah, because I ain't want to hug.
Why not?
That's not how I was raised. We didn't do that.
That's crazy.
We were loving, but
How you loving and don't give a hug? How you don't know how to give a hug?
I'm so serious.
Even when you were coming up, you never hugged nobody?
Ask my bestie. My bestie is very affectionate.
And she tried to hug you and you punched her in the face.
No, of course not. But she kind of helped me with that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I was not always affectionate at all.
A
So.
lack of affection.
But again, that was something that, again, I did not observe that in my family. So again, because I didn't have that, I didn't know how to give that. So I had to do some work on that. No, I like giving hugs.
Listen, I don't think it's a problem with a person that like you got people that don't kiss.
Right.
I don't understand how that's possible.
Some people are just not affectionate.
I don't understand how do you not kiss a person and you're making
If you
making love to them, if you're in a situation.
if that is not something that was demonstrated towards you, then it's not your thing. What is it? Being exposed to it. That's what I meant. You didn't have any exposure, so you that's not my thing.
Who was exposing the kid to kissing?
I mean,
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, so
so if you're a kid and you grow up and your parents, you have a nuclear family, mom and dad, whatever, and you see your mom and dad show
can you give me the
affection,
definition of a nuclear family?
I would say, to me, it's
Right.
like mom and dad,
Where did the nuclear? How you call that a nuclear family? I thought a nuclear family was a family that was blown up and everywhere.
Oh, gosh.
Right? Like me, I got multiple women that I share children with. Right? So I would say I'm a nuclear family.
It's the traditional.
Say that. All right, traditional,
family.
right?
Traditional
So nuclear
family.
means traditional.
Traditional,
Hey man, you learn new things all the time. I hear everybody saying nuclear family.
Yeah,
I was like,
tradition.
I got a nuclear family. Like, boom. And
Oh, my.
got kids over here, kids over there, right?
But just tradition. Yeah, tradition.
Okay, traditional.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. All right. Financial struggles, living paycheck to paycheck, debt cycles. We talked about this earlier. Like, I know it's hard, right? Especially now in today's 50-50, 100%, right? You need a man that needs to pay all your I think that's a generational curse. Like who are you listening to and got you believing that a man's supposed to pay all your bills in a relationship and you ain't supposed to pay nothing?
Again, it's how you were raised. But this is what I want to say about this topic. You have to do what's best fit for you.
No.
What you mean?
Not if you're talking about you want a man to pay all. That's not what's best fit.
So no, see.
Okay.
Pause.
Okay.
It depends on that situation. What if the man wants to do that? If that's what the man wants to do, why would I say don't do that?
He got control. He got control issues. He wants complete control. If a man wants to pay all of your bills, he wants control. He wants to control the situation.
So why do you think that?
Because that's what we want to do.
But what if you still have?
Because I'm a man.
What if you still have your own money and you're invested in things for the family as well, but you're just not paying bills? But maybe you have investments. Maybe you're the one that pays for vacations. Maybe like all of that. You're not paying no bills, but you're still contributing in some kind of way.
He's still controlling. So he needs to go to therapy too.
Interesting perspective.
That's still a controlling situation. You can buy, you can get all the trips you want. You can invest all the money that you want. At the end of the day, you're still in a controlling situation. Why? Because he's paying all the bills. He's paying the car notes. He's paying all that good stuff.
But if you have your own, see, this is the thing.
Can your own pay everything if he dies tomorrow?
So, okay, this is not a conversation.
I think you should have a life insurance policy. That'll work too. Pay life insurance. If you're gonna be paying for things, pay life insurance before you paying for trips.
I agree.
Self $1 million if you kick the bucket.
I agree.
Be cautious.
Everybody should have life insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. But unhealthy relationships, abuse, neglect, lack of communication. Would you consider lack of communication an unhealthy relationship?
Yes, because what we talked about avoidance.
But you cannot hug, and it's not a lack, and that's not an unhealthy relationship.
It was.
Okay. All right.
See, I can take accountability because people be like, "Dang, you don't hug, like that's weird." Like, yeah, it was terrible, but I got better.
Right. I grew up in a family. My family was pretty big at one point. That's why I wanted children. That's why I wanted a whole bunch of children. Not the way it happened, but you get what you get and you don't have a fit. But I wanted a big family. My aunts, my cousins, like my family was around, right? We were very affectionate. We hugged, we punched, we loved on each other.
See, again, going back, you observed love, right. So you were able to give it.
Right.
See? Observation.
Yep. Right? Yeah. If you don't see it, I guess you can't do it. So
not that you can't do it, but it might take you a little bit longer to learn how to do it. You don't have an example. But once you're made aware, like, hey, like that's something that I need to work on.
I typically go left. That's what a lot of people, it's never just straight on topic. If you're saying you didn't watch anybody hug, you didn't watch anybody have sex either, but you know how to do that, right? So for me, it's like you were willing to learn certain things, but you wasn't trying to hug nobody, and I don't know how you even talk to anybody if you're not hugging them. But we'll talk about that later. Okay. Maybe we'll do a subscriber podcast where we talk about the unhuggable Drea Brown. Lack of education and opportunities, right? Fear of growth or risk taking, right? These are curses you need to break, right?
I want to speak on this.
Go ahead.
So, I feel like for a good majority of my life, I lived like in a box. I had like fear of like, you got to be perfect patty. You can't go out the line. You can't go out the bubble because then you're going to look like the mischievous one. And I finally said, you know what? I ain't doing that no more. I don't want to be perfect patty. Even if that's the expectation, I'm okay with not being perfect patty anymore. And that was hard. I got a lot of side eyes. I still get side eyes, but
why?
I don't care. Because I'm breaking the norm.
So you're not perfect patty anymore.
Not perfect patty anymore. And I don't try to act like that either.
Was that a scary moment for you when you broke away
it's
from
still
that?
Scary.
Why?
What you mean?
Explain what perfect patty. Explain the benefits of being a perfect patty.
You have like a, squeaky clean reputation, you dot all your I's, you cross all your T's, you only spoke when spoken to, you walk that fine line. That's how I used to be.
Okay.
I'm not like that anymore at all.
So you're not walking a fine line, it's a little wider.
Yeah.
It's off the beaten path.
Yeah, and I don't care though. That's the thing.
You're not supposed to care. I broke off very young. I was 12 when I did
12.
12. I didn't want to be perfect Pat. I didn't want to be perfect Patrick.
Okay.
Right. But that's how I was raised. Perfect Pierre. Right. I was very, very manner, very polite. Very yes sir, no sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I still say yes, and I say it to people today, and they be like, "Don't call me that. Don't call me ma'am." Like, ma'am is my grandmother. No, it's you. You're a woman, so I'm
right.
But I didn't. My father passed away, and I ran outside, right, and that's why a lot of people thought I would be okay.
Okay.
Because he gave me a lot. I just ignored most of it and ran outside and played outside, and imagine being a gentlemanly drug dealer. Meaning, I come to your house, I serve you, I do what I do, and I see the kids over there in the corner, and I feel bad when I leave out the house, so I order them a pizza and bring it back to them and feed them, right? And sit there with them, or go to the store and buy a Super Nintendo and go in a room with them and play the game with them.
Was you like Ghost on Power?
No.
You wasn't like that?
I wasn't. I never got that big.
Okay. I'm just saying that whole swag thing.
Right. Swag, I ain't wear no suits or nothing like that. It was always a sweatsuit or something like that. Like something that you can, run or stretch. I never wore jeans. I didn't like jeans.
Okay.
It was always sweats. But the kids, they've always been that thing for me because I remember being young and not having, right. My father. Right, so whenever I see a kid going through something and the parents are more concerned with what they want versus what's best for the kid, I'm going to be gravitated towards that kid. Right, I'm going to make sure that kid understands who they are, right, and is capable of, here, take my number, take my phone number. You can call me anytime, right? We can leave, call me, we can go to the park, we can hang out, right? And that was me before I actually had kids.
Okay.
Right, and anybody that knew me, Pete love the kids. You feel me? Like, Pete love to be around the kids. Pete, and that was my issue, right? Because I was trying to, I guess, make things better for them, right, even though things weren't great for me, right? And that was my problem, right? I was always trying to make somebody else feel better, but I was hurting inside. Right. I was mad inside. So, I wanted
to speak on that. But think about you was a hustler. Think about the gang culture.
Right.
They're families.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it may be unconventional by our standards.
No, it's not. It's not unconventional. It's very conventional. It's like you belong to a sorority.
Right.
Right. Gangs are like fraternities. I heard Jim Jones breaking down how the Bloods and the Crips are like fraternities.
Wow.
They're just not legal.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We have hierarchies. We have the leader, right? You listen to the leader. We have the people right underneath of him. We got the people underneath of him. Then we got the people underneath of them, right? They have to respect up. You understand what I'm saying?
And some people are led to that because maybe they're like,
they didn't have a family.
They didn't have a family, so they be led to that.
Right.
And that's the only family that they know.
Imagine going to jail and you don't have a family and you're in jail and someone comes up to you and offers you a soup, right? Now, this is the first night. Second night, they come up to you, yo, come over here, man. Talk to us. You join that, and then they got a beef with somebody, and they like, yo, we got to get this.
Right.
You, being the new person, is going to step up, yo, I got it. You feel me? I'll go stab them. Now you stab them. Now you're in the gang. Now they love you. Now y'all get out. Now you're on the street. You're still in that same new to the gang situation. So you come home, you stay in that boy house, he taking care of you, buying you clothes, he making sure you're straight, y'all going out, y'all drinking, y'all smoking, y'all eating, y'all messing with chicks, and he got beef around the corner. You're going to take the gun and you're going to run around there and do that, right? Because you want to protect him because he's taking care of you.
That's your fam. That's your fam.
Right? So it's no different. It's no different than family, right? It's just We just get it messed up in how we deal with problems and issues.
Facts.
Right. So, we need to fix that. But self-reflection questions, right? What are the repeating issues in my family history? I had to have a serious conversation with my therapist and say, why am I always looking to hit the lottery?
Wow.
My mom and dad bought a house on 21st Street.
Okay.
They hit the lottery to buy that house.
Wow. They
Right.
hit big.
The house was huge.
Wow.
618 21st Street. Actually, that house is for sale right now for 224,559, I think is the number.
Okay.
22 is my birthday. 24 is my mom's birthday. 55 is the year my mom was born and my dad was born.
That is so ironic.
The 9 and the 2 is the year my dad passed away. You feel me? So it's just like
That is
seeing
so
that house. And we
uncanny.
lived in that house, right? And, my dad bought it. My dad and my mom bought it. We moved in January. My dad was dead by April.
Wow.
Right? So it's like so much uncertainty, but the number just
That's crazy.
it hit me. It was like, wow. So I played the number, right? And, I always want to
Try your luck.
trying to
Try
hit,
your luck. Right.
yeah, but I do it every day. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's $20 every day, and then I think about $20 times $365. I don't need to hit the lottery. I already got the money.
Right.
I already have the money. Why am I playing the lottery?
So I'm about to ask you a question.
Go
You
ahead.
said earlier that you feel like you have an addictive personality.
I do.
So let me ask you a question. I don't want you to answer, just want you to think about it off the air. Do you feel like you were around people that had addictive personalities in your family?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I'm leading to this because it's like, not to get too deep, my mom's side of the family, my grandfather, Lord rest his soul in peace, he was a kingpin drug dealer. Their whole side of the family is just, whew. But again, if we're talking about like the cultural norm of my family on my mom's side, I should have been an addict. I should have been a lot of things. But it's like, even though you have certain things in your bloodline, you've observed certain things. Well, the thing, I wasn't around my mom because I don't know how I would have turned out if I was around that culture. I don't know. But that whole side of the family, whew, you could write a book. Remember the movie American Gangster?
Yeah.
Like, my side of that family, my mom's side. But I am not anything like them. And I wonder, like, if I was raised
Over there,
you
would have been just like them.
that's scary.
It's not scary. You don't think you would have want to go to the college even though you was around that?
My grandfather.
Because you could be street smart and book smart at the same time, right?
My grandfather spent the majority of his he died at like almost close to 90, but he was in prison for like 30 something years. He got out maybe like 2 years and then he died and he checked.
Wow.
So I can't imagine I don't know.
Right.
But if we're going based off of my family history, I could have been really jacked up.
I mean, when you look at it and you allow it to have an effect on you, right? Or you really look at it and you say, what would I have been if I would have been raised around that? I know for a fact, if I would have been raised around my father's side of the family, I would have been able to speak Creole.
Wow.
Right?
You can still learn though.
I'm 45. I was about to say I'm 30. I'm 45 years old, right? Between trying to learn the things that I need to learn and keep myself, I don't have that much brain capacity left.
Understood.
Right? I smoked a lot of drugs coming up, right? And
It would definitely make you more marketable though.
it definitely would. Listen, I don't. But right now, I'm of an age where I'm not really worried about being more marketable.
Okay.
Right? You say more marketable to who? You say
This is telecommunications.
Right,
Like
okay,
you speak French,
communications.
man. Listen,
Right.
that'd be a good look for you. You should think about it.
No.
Down the line.
40 down the line. If I any older, I'll be anyway. And these are the things that I think about sometimes all the time, right? How would I would have went to college, right? Because they stress education. You feel me? Like, and they were older when they came here. All of my aunts, all of my uncles, they all went to college. They all graduated, right? So it would have been necessary for me to do the same, being a first generation.
Right.
Right? You know, when he passed away, I just ran the streets. And I'm not saying my mother and my grandmother didn't want me to do college and go to college, but they were trying to save me, right? And protect me. And not that it wasn't direction, but it really wasn't, because you'll figure it out. My grandma always said, boy, I ain't worried about you.
You gonna figure it out.
You gonna figure it out. The lights will kick on. And they did.
Right, she was right.
She was right, but you know, she knew what I had in me. But when you're trying to figure that out, right? When you're going through life and you're frustrated and you're trying to throw things at the wall hoping something sticks, you have to go to therapy. You got to talk to a professional. I've been 30 for 15 years, right? But no, like talking to a professional, talking to your therapist, it helps you just identify the things that you have to work on. Everybody goes through something. Everybody feels something, whether we want to ignore it, whether we want to deny it, whether it's something, oh, no, that can't be me. It couldn't be me. It couldn't happen to me. It can, right? And if we don't talk, and if we don't
heal, well, we can't heal what we don't reveal.
If you don't reveal what's going on in your life, then you can't heal from it. And it's very difficult to heal from something if the doctor don't know how to give you the treatment to heal from it. When you go to the doctor, you tell them you're sick. I got diarrhea. There's probably something wrong with your stomach. Here, drink this. I'm coughing. Here, take this cough medicine. Right? And if you go to a therapist, that's to heal your thinking, the way that you think. That's what a therapist does, right? Heals the way you think. Once you heal the way you think, you gotta reveal that stuff. You gotta talk about it. So we're talking about generational curses, right? How can we identify them? How can we break them? How can we put them to the side and talk to our family, have conversations with the people?
The uncomfortable conversation.
Yes. Uncomfortable conversations with the people that are not necessarily no, I'm not going to say they're not at fault. With the people that are at fault for how we feel, right? And have them be accountable to that. That's hard.
It is.
Because me and my mom used to argue all the time. You didn't send me to Malvern Prep. You sent me to Chester High. That's why I became a drug dealer. She would hit me back. Well, if I would have sent you to Malvern Prep, you probably would have been a junkie.
Wow.
That's it. Touche.
Touche.
Right? All right, you got that. You right. I remember when I took my shahada. I'm gonna be Muslim. I don't want to be Christian because all the Christians use drugs. Well, we buy them from the Muslims, right?
Your mom was sharp.
Oh, my mom was what?
She was sharp.
What? I miss her so much. We would shoot at each other be just a drive-by. You feel me? Like we would shoot at each other every day. But every day she would tell me she loved me. Every day she understood. And now I understand, right? It's hard for any parent to be 100, to be able to do it. Like you're 50, right? And you need your other 50, right? And without your other 50, you can only give your child what you can give them. Someone else has to fill in the void. Now, my father gave me everything I needed. I just ignored it to run outside and hang out. And he told me when I was very young, bro, I wanted to go outside. He pointed outside. He said, you go outside with those young men. He had a deep Haitian accent. You go outside with those young men right there, you're going to jail.
Wow.
Right? And I was like,
wow.
I look outside. I'm upstate looking outside. Guess who I see? Yeah. And inside, I think it was in my head, but I heard him say, I told you, dumbass. And I thought it was I said, what you say, Sully? My son said, man, I didn't say nothing to you. I was like, oh. And this was Graterford.
Wow.
This was everybody coming in, right? And I was looking out the window and I said, yo, sure. I ain't go out that night. I cried. I said, I fucked up, right? But I knew I had to get through it.
Right.
So I couldn't walk around with a sad face, you feel me? So, I just started eating oatmeal and blueberry donuts and getting big, right? Ain't nobody gonna take my ass if I'm big. You feel me? I was skinny when I went in that joint because I was smoking a lot of coke, bro. I was. In order to have uncomfortable conversations with your family, they have to be acceptive of you having the conversation with you. Did you say? Is that what you said? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they definitely have to be. They have to be, but they also have to be accountable, right? When you want to have an uncomfortable conversation with family, you gotta talk your way into that situation. It's not just going in there and saying, yeah, I want to have this uncomfortable. You didn't do this. No, you say, listen, we need to have an uncomfortable conversation about what I feel as though wasn't given to me properly. And I want you to fill in what you feel as though you gave to me properly, and then we'll break it down from there, right?
But then if they're an avoidant, that's a whole nother issue.
Oh, if they're an avoidant, then you just burn everything down. Burn it down. Yeah. Like, I mean, you can't avoid this anymore. Mom, I'm trying to talk to you.
Right.
You can't avoid this anymore. Dad, I'm trying to talk to you.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. We're going to therapy together. And if you don't go to therapy together, you're going into an old folks home.
So you're going to give them an ultimatum?
Listen, what they say, once a man, twice a baby. You're going to get old, bro.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So we either work on fixing this now, or you gonna be in an old folks home with your nuts dragging on the floor. And I'm gonna make sure I run them over and step on them and everything else. So come on, let's go.
Oh my goodness.
That's what has to happen, right? And it's all love. But that's the thing, it should still be love. You know what you didn't receive. You know what you got too much of. You know where you're at now. You're drinking, you're smoking, you're doing all this other stuff, right? And it's because you saw it and you feel like that's what you have to do. But once you realize you're wrong, what do? How do you fix it? You stop. You can't keep doing the same thing.
That's true.
Right? So you can be an avoidant for so long to the point where it just smacks you in your face and you have to be accountable to it. Healing and changing the narrative, shifting your mindset. You have to acknowledge the problem without shame. Your past doesn't define you.
Absolutely not. It does not.
Like, I used to say I was the type of man that didn't care. And I didn't. I didn't care about who I hurt. I didn't care about who I lied to. I didn't care about who I stole from. I didn't care. I didn't do dirt in this city. That was the one thing.
Okay.
Right? So I've never shit. I don't shit where I eat.
Okay.
Right? Or sleep.
Okay.
So I never did anything in the city, but I have done some things that I'm not proud of.
We all have.
Right? And I used to say that all the time, right? And then until I went to therapy and I told my therapist I did all this stuff. And he was like, oh my God, I would have never thought you were that type of person. And when I explained it to people, they was like, nah, P, you didn't. For real? Like you was out there? Like, and then I remember back to when I went upstate and they said, what are you doing in here? It was like, I was never seen as that person. That's why I got away with it. Because I could be walking down the street with all your stuff in my bag and you would never thought it was me because I didn't look like that type of person.
Right.
My glasses on, you feel me? Like, no, I don't look like. Get pulled over by the police. Oh, man, let him go home. He's good. But your past doesn't define you, but my past defined me because you thought of me going to Holy Ghost. You didn't think of me in Chester High. You didn't see me doing any of those things, right? So when people say your past doesn't define you, like, that's how people look at you based on what they know about you, not what they know now.
It doesn't define you, but it does shape you.
Okay.
Doesn't define you because you can always change the narrative. You can always reinvent yourself. I think as long as you have your health and you have air in your lungs and your heart's still beating, you can reinvent yourself.
Okay. All right.
What do you think about that?
I've reinvented myself several times. That's all I could do. I couldn't do anything else. The early years, I think every 7 years you reinvent yourself.
I'm going to think about that.
Yeah, I know that for a fact.
Okay.
Right? It's related to chakras, right?
Okay.
And every 7 years, you feel me, you evolve, right? You first start off from I'm not doing all that. Look it up.
Okay. Have you ever did Reiki?
Huh?
Have you ever did Reiki?
Reiki, what's that?
I'll tell you about that off air.
No, what's that?
Reiki is like where this practitioner, they take like this wine and go to your different chakras, like your crown, all that. I've done that before. It was kind of cool.
It was kind of what?
It was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool?
Yeah.
For them to hit you upside the head?
No, they're not touching you. It's like the wand, and they go to your crown.
And then they tell you what chakras
the chakras that need to be cleared out.
They clear out your chakras?
So if you have like stress in certain areas or certain points in your body, like they can clear it out for you. You know I'm into all that stuff.
I know you into all that stuff. It's not like a colonoscopy or nothing like that.
No,
I'm just asking.
No, nobody's actually touching you. It's like they're.
So how they clearing out your chakras if they ain't touching you?
There's like, they take this like wand and
put it over your head.
And it's like they're scanning through your body. They burn the sage. It's just a whole experience.
Oh, okay. It's a spiritual situation.
Yeah. Ain't nobody doing.
They don't really clear you out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How much they charge you for that? You ain't go. Don't talk about
No.
it.
I'm gonna tell you. It was like that session was like $200.
$200. Oh, shit! I'm about to do that. I'm about to have a. I'm gonna
tell you about the place.
What is it called? Reiki?
Reiki.
Stop by and get Pierre. Get Reiki by Pierre. No. No, I'm good. Understanding that healing is a choice, not a coincidence. You have to accept what you're going to do. You can't fight it. Right? We have tons of people who need to see therapy working in a good way. Right? So, healing is your choice. It's not a coincidence.
And it's linear. It's an ongoing thing.
Or therapy and self-awareness work. Understand that. The only people that go to therapy and say it don't work are the people that don't reveal, so they can't heal. Oh man, it wasn't nothing. I just went there. I ain't even say nothing. We was just sitting there talking about my sneakers and the sneakers. No, why ain't you telling about your uncle, bro? I remember that incident you told me about. Man, I only told you about that. What I look like on. It's your therapist. He can't take your information and say anything to anybody else. He can't go write a novel. He can't do any of that stuff. Didn't you watch the Menendez brothers and see, can't do none of that stuff?
But let's talk about therapy real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts first before it feels better. So some people don't want to go through that stage where they have to
cry,
unpack all that pain.
Ooh.
They're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to open up all these wounds, all this pain. They're like, no.
It took me a long time to go. Literally, my ex-wife used to always say, let's go to therapy. I'm not going to no therapy. I don't need no damn therapy. What's wrong with you? What I need therapy for? I don't need no therapy. I needed that, Joey. I needed that. When I finally said we can go, I was so many kids in, right?
Wow.
On her, right? And she's a person now in my life that I wish we were able to talk the way we could talk now. I wish we were able to talk like that years ago.
Gotcha.
Right? But I wasn't equipped to handle that. Right? And probably, I'm not going to say she wasn't, but I don't know if she was or not. But I know I wasn't. So therapy, right, got me to a place where I had to say everything that I did. And I told her everything in the session with her.
Everything?
Everything, bro.
Whew, that's a lot.
Everything. The therapist yeah. Oh. Well, we had to go back to therapy. He said, ho. I need to find you something to do. You feel me? Because while you are into making money, you're into working, you're into hustling. You don't have a problem with working. You don't have a problem with hustling. You'll do both at the same time if you can. Mm-hmm. I need to find you something to do, right, that keeps you occupied. So what did you want to do when you were 16 years old?
Me?
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know for what. I just knew because that was the expectation. Like,
So we're going back further. What did you want to do when you were 12 years old?
I don't know.
Every kid had a dream. You know that? Every kid, everybody
I
had
don't know
a
what
dream.
I wanted to do at 12.
Sounds like a scam to me too, bro. But you know, we'll. I'm trying to tell you, we're gonna start there. As soon as I get this, we're going raking.
Reiki, Reiki.
Yep, I'm gonna learn how to do it and everything. What they had the towels on?
No,
You feel me?
no.
No. What they hit? What this,
You're
regular
laying
clothes?
on this. You're laying on this like massage table,
Oh,
and they have like the.
they asked you
like,
to get naked.
No,
No,
you know you're not naked.
you got to get Reiki from me. You got to Everybody, you got to strip down. Here, you got to put this towel on.
Just do some research. It really helped.
I know.
It helped.
It's gonna help me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. $200. $200 only got to see 5 people a day.
Did you enjoy the healing circle?
I did.
So if you enjoyed that Reiki, you would get an experience from Reiki.
Anyway, what was I talking about? Therapy.
You went off tangent.
Therapy and self-awareness work, bro. Like, think about that. Get that help that you need. Developing healthy coping mechanisms. Replace negative habits with positive ones. I had to replace going to the casino. I was in the casino heavy. You hear me? Prior to going to therapy. I've probably only been in the casino 7 times over the last 7 years.
Wow.
You feel me? Every time I go in there. No, I can't say that. I was going to say I win. No, I don't. I went to Las Vegas and lost a couple of hours. I ain't lose much though. $300. That's it.
That's not bad.
I put a limit on myself. $300.
not bad
That's
at
all I got. But I was up. See, I got to learn to walk away. That's another thing. When I'm up, I gotta walk away. Right? Because that'd be my problem. So yeah, I don't walk away. I don't walk away from nothing.
I was about to say that.
I don't walk away. I go down with the ship. Bro, we gonna require that they get naked when we break the. We're gonna be the only taking females. Yep, that's how I go. Female ranking.
It's Reiki. Reiki.
Yeah, we gonna have. So what religion is that connected to? Is that like Buddhist? Had the Zen garden in there.
I think it would be along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a mixture of a lot of different things.
Burning sage in the room.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Bro, I got the perfect. Yep, massage table. You lay on it.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, we definitely. Yep, we doing that. Yep. We got to set that up, bro. We got to start our own professional raking business. Right? Brothers raking.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Setting boundaries with family members who reinforce toxic behaviors. I'm not gonna say I don't fool with family, but if you still trying to run the streets, I'm good. I'm good. And I wish you nothing but the best. Right? But yeah, I'm good. Learning new skills. See? I had to learn a new skill. I had to come in here and learn how to do the radio station. So when I tell you therapy works, right, it give you something new. If your therapist is not asking you to buy a book, a journal, to write down your thoughts, your daily thoughts. If you're sitting in the house and you're upset because you just broke up with your boyfriend and you're mad, you're frustrated, and you get into the room and you can't write down what you're thinking about, and then you can't look at those thoughts over the past week and see a shift and a change in the way you're appreciating your day, right? You're seeing things differently. Once you get to appreciating and your gratitude changes, your gratitude level changes, and you're giving grace and you're talking nicely, in the reading, you understand that you're growing and you're changing, right? And you're still going to therapy. You're still I'm not going to tell you therapy works. You only got to go 5 times. Some people got to go 1,000,000 times. Some people got to go twice a month.
I also want to say,
Some people got to go every week.
If you're not into therapy, you might want to try life coaching. I have a life coach. And I just got one maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. I just wanted to try it.
A life coach?
A life coach.
So what does a life coach coach you in life?
So if you have like goals that you're trying to achieve, if you have issues with like time management, there's someone to kind of like help you to organize your life and, you know, work towards your goals. Yeah. And because I want to do that one day. I want to be a life coach.
You want to be a life coach?
Yeah, I got a lot of different things I want to do. So I was like, let me get one to see what they do.
So you feel like your life coach is helping you with time management?
Yeah, because I be all over the place sometimes.
You couldn't have done that yourself?
Well, it's free from my job, so
Oh, it's free. Okay,
I'm not
all
paying
right.
for it.
I'm just trying to listen. I'm trying to.
I'm not paying for
just
it.
trying to see how you feel, right?
Oh, the link for Reiki. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Hey, Dante, look that joint up, man. We gotta get. Damn, that's crazy. You couldn't walk away from the table. Isn't that kind of what you go through in life? You're notorious for holding on to relationships that should have been dead a long time ago. I'm guilty of that as well. Hey, bro, listen, I said that's my issue. I don't know when to walk away. I don't want to walk away from somebody and leave them.
Is that because of your attachment style?
I think I told you it is.
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay.
Abandonment, right?
Okay.
I don't like to leave people. I would rather a female leave me than me leave a female.
So you don't have that guilt of leaving?
Yeah. I've left before. Like the one time that I walked out and filed for divorce, I know the effects that had on my children, so I try to stick around. And I don't really care what nobody has to say, right? I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for you. But a life coach, I'm gonna look into that. I think I got one. I'm gonna have to text her and ask her, is she one, and why she not coaching my life? Anyway, the power of forgiveness, man. Not excusing past harm, but releasing emotional weight of resentment. You have to forgive the people that hurt you. I know it's hard.
I want to speak on this.
Go ahead.
Me forgiving has unlocked a whole new set of like
Doors,
joy,
yes,
like joy, opportunities, connections, healthier things. Like
you don't even have to tell the people that you forgive them.
Absolutely.
Like you don't have to say I forgive you. No, just forgive them.
Just forgive them. Absolutely.
Boy, poof.
Yep.
It's simple.
It really is simple.
It is beyond simple. Like it is one of the easiest things to do. You don't even have to tell nobody.
Right. And forgiveness is it's really for you, not the other person.
Boy,
so you can be set free.
Boy, that's the only person it's for. Like I've looked at a lot of people that have done me wrong in my entire life, and bro, I forgive them. I wish them nothing but success. I think I posted about that today. I said, you talk about me, you feel some type way about me. That's not my problem. That's yours.
Right.
I wish you nothing but success and happiness.
I ain't got no beef with nobody.
I ain't got no beef with nobody, bro.
That's exactly what I just said. The forgiveness is not for them; it's for you. I said that. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't think that. Yeah, if you hold on and you don't forgive, then that weighs you down, right? That will weigh you down. That will sink your shit. Literally, having that resentment, having those feelings, and walking around with that bitter
and it physically
face.
Takes a toll on you.
Boy, it eats.
It
I
really
think it eats at your heart lining, bro. Like that's easy to have a stroke. I was dealing with a lot of resentment. I was holding on to a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. I was taking things personally, right? And that might have been what led to my stroke, other than other things, but that alone, that weighed on me. I was mad. I was frustrated, man. And then I had to go back and sit down with my therapist and talk to him and tell him how I felt about certain things. And he was like, holding on to that anger, that resentment, that feeling of abandonment has gotten you stuck where you are right now. You got to let that go, right? Because if you're trying to grow the radio station, if you're trying to grow in your life, you got to be able to remove yourself from things.
Facts.
So I had to let a lot of that go, right? But if I didn't go and talk to him, I would have never known that was one of my issues.
Wow.
Right? I would have said it was something else. And it would have stayed right where it's at. But, I had to let a lot of resentment go. Forgiveness is for your freedom keeping pain inside will
Kill you slowly. That's facts. That is so facts.
Yes, it will. That's it will. That's where most of us come from, bro. Like, I think everything habitual or what's the say the word when you get it from your family is what's the when it's passed down to generation to generation. What's that word I'm looking for? Not habitual. Hereditary. Yeah. Hereditary.
Yeah.
Right. Hereditary. So, you know, dad had a weak heart. My dad had a heart attack.
Wow.
So it's like, oh man, I'm gonna have one. You feel me? Like, that's why they ask you for your family history when you go into the hospital. Just tell me about your mom. My mom had a heart attack. You know what I mean? So it's like, ooh.
I want to speak on this. This is
Go ahead.
a little personal. So like I was saying earlier, how my mom's side of family, like they were really into drugs. My grandfather was like a kingpin. I always thought if I like even dibble dabbled in drugs that I was going to be addicted because a lot of people in my family was. So I had that fear like, oh my God, like this is how my family is. I'm going to be like that. But I had to like really like pray that away and like really therapy, journaling. Cause I was like, oh my God, like this is in my DNA. I can't escape it. But just because it's in your DNA, it doesn't mean it's going to be, you're going to be that person. Sometimes it's like the luck of the draw. It's a 50-50 chance.
It is.
But you can't just claim stuff, be like, okay, my daddy was a drunk, my mama was a drunk, like, I'm going to be a drunk. Because if you start claiming that stuff, it's power in the tongue. Then the next thing you know, you be that person. So we can't claim things that are not good.
I got the word, Dante. Damn. Come on, man. Hereditary. Yeah. I agree with you 100%. Me, I test that. I was that person. I'm going to test it. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. I'm going to try it. See what happens. I don't have no problem with quitting. I could quit anything. I just have a problem with walking away. I have to have something else to focus on.
But at least you can acknowledge that.
Right.
That's half the battle.
Yeah, it is.
Being accountable and being able to say, hey.
It is. Let's talk about creating a new legacy. What does a new legacy look like, right? After you've already gone through all of your generational curses and you've broken down what happens when this happens and what happens when that happens and how can you shift it? How do you build a new looking path, a new standing point, right? Teaching the next generation different values, right? Love, stability, and self-worth.
Ooh, that self-worth is very important.
That self-worth is beyond important. That self-love is beyond important. That self-inventory is beyond important. You learn all these things, right? That the number one person that you should be worried about is you. See, when you're on a plane and they tell you, if this oxygen mask falls down and you have children with you, put it on yourself first. That's what they tell you.
They do.
They don't tell you put it on your kid first. They don't tell you put it on the old lady next to you that can't reach it. That's on her. Get yours on first and then help someone else. Make sure you're straight first and then help someone else.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
I've tried.
It's detrimental.
It is definitely detrimental. Because what ends up happening is you're always in a negative stand. You're always in a negative place, right? If you're pouring from an empty cup, by the time you get something to pour back into that cup, it's already poured. So it's not even going into your cup. It's going into somebody else's cup. Now you're pouring from a negative stance, right? And it doesn't work. Because when you really don't have anything, you don't have anything for you. You don't have no gas money. You don't have no food. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't pay for this. And everybody looking at you like you crazy. You just got it. Now you ain't got it. Take care of yourself.
Facts.
Understand your self-worth. Understand how worthy you are. Building financial and emotional wealth that lasts beyond your lifetime. Life insurance. We talk about it all the time. It's important. Like, these are not tools that are out here just for white people. They're for us too. Hit somebody up. Talk to somebody. Have some understanding about generational wealth. Have some understanding about when I die, I want my kids to at least get $1 million. When I die, I want my kids to at least have this. I want my kids to at least be able to do this. I want my kids to at least see this. I want my kids not to have to have a fish fry to put me in the ground.
Better say it.
And you got to work on it. And you have to work on it.
Oh, can I read this one?
Yes, you can.
Being the example, even if no one being the example, even if no one before you was. So it's like you may not have had an example, but guess what? It doesn't matter. If you've done the work, if you are able to take accountability, to realize the things that you need to change, like you could be the change. You could be the change for your family. You could be the change for your children, but it all starts with you.
It ain't going to start with nobody else. You have to be the example. You have to be the first one to do it. You have to be the first one to buck it. You have to be the first one to get up and do anything. They say the black sheep of the family is the one that breaks the generational curses.
I believe that.
The one that walks away. The one that doesn't need a whole crowd of people to follow him.
They march to the beat of their own drum.
Their own fucking drum. And the night before my mom passed away, she told me, she was like, I'm so proud of you. Like the things that you've done, you've changed how people are viewing you. They once viewed you as just a drug dealer, as just a person in the street, as just a criminal. The awards that you're receiving, the people are speaking your name in rooms that you don't even know you're in. And I told her I was only doing that because I just wanted people, when they said my last name, to look at me differently and look at my mom differently. My mom raised a great man, right? And she did it the best way she knew how. Again, it was only one parent, so I only got 50%, but she tried. She tried her hardest, right? The rest of me was raised by the street, right? So I did learn how to lie, how to steal, how to get over. But more than anything, I also learned accountability from my mother and love and forgiveness, unconditional love. I love everybody that comes around me. I love them unconditionally. There's nothing you can do to turn my love off. That's just how I love. But you have to be comfortable being the black sheep. You have to be comfortable being different. You have to be comfortable saying no. You have to be comfortable not going out. You have to be comfortable staying in the house. You have to be comfortable doing what's best for you. Not the group. You. And only you. So I just want everybody to understand, man, how important it is to put yourself first, to go to therapy, because if you don't,
you can't heal what you don't reveal.
You have to reveal. You have to reveal the things that upset you, the things that hurt your feelings, the things that make you think, the things that make you clutch your pocketbook, the things that make you not trust, the things that make you lock your car, the things that make you not wash the dishes, the things that make you not wash it, but the things that make you do what you do, the things that make you tick, you have to reveal them to your therapist and talk to your therapist. Everyone needs one.
But sometimes you gotta, before you might even make it to the therapist, is being able to be real with yourself. So you can have the courage to go to that therapist. Nobody wants to talk about that because sometimes we be telling ourselves lies. We ain't gotta have other people lie to us. We be lying to ourselves.
Stop talking to your cousins and your best friends. If they in the bar, y'all hanging out together, that ain't the person you need to be talking to. Nah, honestly. My sister said something to me. She was like, when you were married, you didn't have any married friends. So you couldn't ask a husband. You couldn't ask a wife, how does it feel, right? So when you become something else, when you become married or you get a new job, you have to have a mentor. You have to have somebody that's been in that field and done that work at least for a couple of years to explain how things operate. There's nothing wrong with talking to other people. Nothing.
You are so right on so many levels on that. Having someone that has an expert, that has experience in that area.
Has experience. Listen.
If you want a healthy marriage, you want to be around people that have healthy marriages. You want to if you're trying to be a millionaire, you want to get to know some millionaires, You can't You can't elevate being around the same people.
Boy, I think all the time when I wanted to run the street. That was my thing. They didn't want me to. I would come up to them, where your report card at? You ain't answered. Man, we asked you for your report card. Here. What is this? What is you doing? They knew my father. They knew what my father expected of me. These were men in the street that were selling drugs, asking me for my report card. What you asking me for my report card for? Now you got to get in the house, go study. Man, I don't want to study.
See, I'm going to give you a different perspective. Like, okay, we have people that run the streets, that sell drugs, and okay, that's bad. But it doesn't mean they can't have good attributes. People just say, oh, well, they're all bad.
Oh, back in the day, we had drug dealers that had good attributes. They took care of the neighborhood. They took the kids on trips. They bought turkeys for the houses.
That's just one part of them.
Right? They knocked on the door. They made sure the neighborhood was safe, right? It was after they went to jail and the younger people took over and the attitudes came out.
Okay.
Right? The disrespectful, the playing your system loud in front of. I always have respect. My old heads taught me to always have respect. Right? Respect grandma. Make sure she's straight. Help her with her groceries when she pull up. Close her door. You feel me? Make sure the front of her house is safe. This is our neighborhood. Protect it. Clean it up. My grandma made sure I cleaned it. So it was different things that was taught to me that weren't taught to other people because they were frustrated because they didn't have the proper backing, because their parents were the ones buying the stuff, because they were allowed to say it out. So it was going to be left. They were going to miss things, and it didn't click. So, every different strokes for different folks.
Facts.
And I just want everybody to understand that healing yourself comes from therapy. Practical steps: invest in education and self-development. Prioritize healthy relationships, family, friendships, and community. And leave something for the next generation: a property, a business, or knowledge. This is how we create a legacy, a new legacy. This is how you do it. Leave something for the next generation.
I'm going to do the final thought.
Go ahead.
So, you are the change. You don't have to become what you came from. You are not bound by past mistakes or family struggles.
Go ahead.
Breaking the cycle starts with one decision: you deciding to live differently. So what's one generational curse you're breaking? Drop it in the comments.
One generational curse you are breaking currently, or you would like to break, or you would like to change, put it in the comments, man. Like I said, I love doing this podcast. It's uncomfortable conversations where we will talk about everything and anything. If you want to be a guest, you can pull up. I don't care. You bring the topic and we'll talk about it.
I would love to have someone sit next to me and, chit chat with, so come on up.
Yeah. I don't got no problem with that. Oh man, it's been a great day. So I just want everybody to remember. Anything you want to say before we roll up out of here? Give you a couple seconds of screen time.
I just want to say, thank you for everyone that was in the chat that, engaged in this conversation. I hope for us to have more engagement. I really look forward to having additional topics. Maybe you guys can suggest in the comments, and I just enjoy engaging with you guys.
Awesome. Well, you already know. I love talking to y'all. We've been doing this for 7 years, going on 8. We'll be 8 this year. We got planning a gala, all that good stuff, right? So, Fusion Friday's coming up. If you have a nonprofit, you have a business in the community, you want to come out into the community, let's get it done. About to send out an email, see if I can sit down with the people in charge and figure out what all is necessary. Again, right? I didn't create this radio station to cause beef or to cause turmoil in our community. I created it to give people a space to talk. I created it because we needed it. It doesn't have to be mine. Somebody want to buy it, you can buy it. You can do what you want to do with it. No, I'm joking. I'll never sell it. I don't know why I said that. But the community needs to hear your voice, our voices, right? Not just mine. So come on up here. Come to the radio station. Come share your story. Come share how you understand what uncomfortable conversations have done for you or done for your family. CMPradio.net. It's your boy Uncle P, man. I appreciate y'all all the time. I love y'all on purpose. And I want y'all to have a great rest of your night and a great day tomorrow. Remember to give grace, smile, because I love you. Peace.